Let's talk about ND filters. If you've used one before, you'll know that there are a lot of options out there in the market to choose from. And you'll also know, whilst massively useful, even essential for filming content outdoors, they can have some major downsides. From having to constantly switch them in different situations to massive quality sacrifices. I'm talking about vignetting, inconsistent colors, and the dreaded X shadows. These are all quality defects that I've come across from using many different ND systems, and I'm sure some of you guys have too. But recently I have been using a new V&D filter system, this one from Nisi, and from my extensive testing, this resolves a lot of issues that I've encountered with other filter systems in the past and opens up a lot more options for creativity. And when it comes to a direct comparison between Nisi and one of its closest competitors, this is where we see some really surprising results, and we'll get into these a little bit later on in today's video. And finally, if you are interested in checking these filters out for yourself, there is a discount code on screen. Use that to get 10% off any order that you make through the Nisi store. So the Nisi Swift system is designed around the most essential filters for video, and that is of course variable NDs. Variable neutral density filters allow creators to keep their camera settings consistent in a plethora of lighting situations. This particular filter system has a non-magnetic design, opting instead for a press-on approach that is integrated so efficiently, keeping the filters nicely secured, and this is beyond simple to use. In terms of variable ND filters, this covers everything all the way down to 1 stop all the way up to 9 stops with hard stops at both ends. So how it works is, first you have a 1 to 5 stop ND filter and then an additional 4 stop ND filter. So in some situations, especially outdoors in harsh light, the 1 to 5 stop might not be enough. So what you could do is simply press on the extra 4 stop ND to your 1 to 5 stop filter, and now you have a 6 to 9 stop filter in seconds. Now usually variable ND filters are 2 to 5 stop and then 6 to 9 stops, so already it's really nice to have a 1 to 5 stop, and then being able to turn that into a 6 to 9 stop in a matter of seconds is brilliant. And I can see this being really handy for both videographers and photographers too. On top of the ND filters, you can also get a CPL filter for this system, which is used to remove or control reflections from reflective surfaces such as water, glass, leaves, cars, and even the sky. So these kind of filters are tremendous at enhancing colors and saturation. A neat filter that is included within the filter system is a black mist 1/4 filter, which is really cool. For those unfamiliar, a mist filter is used to remove that digital edge that is apparent from most modern sensors. It provides a bit of a filmic look by blooming the highlights. I like using these for some applications of photography, but also video too. It gives a really pleasing and sought after aesthetic. You might be able to tell that I'm actually currently using this mist filter right now. So if I just pop it off, this is the image without, and if I just pop it back on, you can see how the highlights are blooming from this light here and how that digital sharpness is reduced. Now the rad thing is, with all of these different filters, is they can be used in different combinations with one another, or they can be used separately. So I think there's something mad like over 15 different combinations, and that is some next level versatility. That is the most versatile filter system I have ever come across, and as a hybrid shooter, I can confirm that this is ideal for both photographers and videographers. Now you'd think having so many filter combination possibilities would subtract from the ease of use of this filter system, but the opposite is true. The press-on system is really easy to use, and it makes switching filters on and off a doddle. It's so quick, it's so simple, and it is so easy. I find other filter systems that I've used in the past are annoying and fiddly, also unreliable. For example, I have stopped using any form of magnetic filters because I've actually had the magnets fail on me in the past, and my filter has ended up tumbling to the floor and cracking. And when you're creating content, you don't want that. You want something that is reliable, you want something that's easy to use, and you want something that's swift. And come to think of it, that is probably why they called it the Swift system. In the pursuit of making one of the most versatile filter systems on the market, has Nisi sacrificed on the glass quality? This is a common problem with most filters I have used. They all have a color shift, some stronger than others. And when you're shooting log footage, it's important to have filters that don't ruin your colors. And sometimes it isn't obvious that it is doing so until you get to color grading later in post. And when you discover this has happened to you, that is when you cry yourself to sleep knowing all the color correction you're going to have to do. But it could be worse because a client could ask you just to simply change the music. No. Anyway, this filter system is advertised as true color, and from my testing, that is true. So take a look here. The middle video is shot with no ND filter. This is our reference point. Take note of the colors. Our next video is shot with my now old filter system, Freewell's filter set. This is shot on their 2 to 5 stop VND. And this final image is shot with my new filter system, Nisi's 1 to 5 stop variable ND filter. And we can all immediately see it. Nisi's filters are very close to the original reference image, but there is a little bit more contrast. You can see that in the shadows and the reds as well. They're a tad bit darker. And the sky actually looks quite nice. It actually looks a little bit brighter, but only a smidge. I'm talking very small amount. But weirdly, I actually prefer the overall image with the Nisi as opposed to the one straight out of camera. So now let's address the elephant in the room, and that is the Freewell filters. And we can all see it. There is a huge tint shift towards the greens here, despite identical camera settings between tests. The blues in the sky, if we can even call them blue at this point, maybe at best a dark blue, but I'd say on the borderline of grey. Not a flattering or impressive result from Freewell. I did conduct multiple tests because I thought I was doing something daft between tests and I was doing something wrong, but no. I spent over £200 on those Freewell filters, and this is the massive color shift I'm experiencing. So it's definitely safe to say that these Nisi filters are true to life and kick the absolute living I can't say that word, sugar out of its closest competitors. The glass quality of the Swiss system is also guaranteed to ensure that you don't get one of those big X shadows across your footage. As you can see right here, no matter what stop ND I am using, this just never occurs, and that is just, oh, it's great, isn't it? And the same can also be said about vignetting, but of course this does actually depend on how wide you are shooting. From my personal testing with just the 1 to 5 stop ND filter, you can shoot as wide as 16mm without experiencing any vignetting. With the 1 to 5 stop stacked with the 4 stop ND, you can shoot as wide as 18mm. So that's some good going there if you ask me. I don't know if you can hear, but I've actually got a seagull crawling on the roof. Steven! It's Steven Seagal. Steven, can you get off the roof, please? Yeah, thank you. We have a pet seagull at this point, and he's an absolute menace, so we just called him Steven Seagal. So that was Steven, everyone. Another great advantage with the Swiss system is the overall price. Now on the surface, it may seem a bit more on the pricier end. If you go with the 82mm set, which is actually the one I would recommend because you can always buy a step-up ring and use it with any other lens, it's going to cost you around £309 without the CPL filter. But when you compare it to what's actually currently on the market, you will find that there are filters on their own that don't offer half the bells and whistles of this Nisi Swiss system, yet cost hundreds of pounds more. So for me, there is value for money in these filters for what I need to create the content I do. These are spot on and tick all the right boxes. So we all know the things I like about this filter system, but what about the things I don't like? The first thing is with the extent of the combinations available, it can be hard to remember what combinations are possible, but this is actually a nice problem to have. Plus, if you get stuck, you can always refer to the Nisi's website or use the included brochure. Now at this point, this is where I would show you that brochure, but I accidentally threw it out with the box. The next thing is you have to commit to this filter system as it is designed around their 1 to 5 stop variable ND filter. Also, I do wish a lens cloth was included in the case. And finally, I do wish the font on the filters was a little bit bigger because when they're in a dedicated case, it can be really difficult to see which filter is which. Are any of these deal breakers? Absolutely not. I wouldn't say so. More like nitpicks. As always guys, I want to be completely honest, and at first I wasn't expecting this filter system to be all that useful, but from my extensive testing, it is one of the best, if not the best filter system that I have ever come across, used, and will be using going forward. The amount of options it offers and the versatility available is like something I've never seen before from a filter system. Plus, they are really easy to work with, and let's not forget, offer incredible true to life colors, which are essential for any content creator. So yeah, that's all I've got for today's video. I do hope you have enjoyed it, and it'd be great to hear your thoughts on this filter system too. If you did like today's video, hit the like button and maybe subscribe. It'd be great to have you on board of this ever so growing community. But until next time, create, explore, and inspire.